Hey guys, if you're there, hang on 1 second. We'll be live in just a moment. Gonna wait for the stream to validate and we'll get it up and running for you. But yeah, so just hold on 1 second. We're gonna be live. I'm just trying to get everything set up on the back end here before we get started. Alright, so hey, welcome to the CCxRC channel. I'm Tony, and I just thought that we'd open it up tonight for some Q&A. Last time we did a live session, most of the time was spent doing Q&A and not talking about what we had originally started the live broadcast for, and so I figured, you know what, let's just go ahead and open it up for Q&A. I'm going to go ahead and get this going on my computer here so that I can check into the live chat and see who we got in there. So we've got a couple people. Oh, already got RC Muscle, Ryan Smith, Bar Harbor Basher. Hey, welcome back, Josh, I believe. Am I right? And Riam May. So I've been having quite an interesting week with RC, and particularly with the quadcopter here, and having some fun doing some running, and took this actually out for the first crashing fest today, which was a lot of fun, and it's a lot harder than it looks when you watch the videos online, and they are so smooth. As you can see, I've got like pieces just dangling off of mine right now, but yeah, it's a little bit harder than I had expected, but that's all good. Nothing broke that I know of. We'll see next time I get it up if it ends up crashing or not. But it's BRC. How's RC going? RC's going good. And Tristan, we are on now, so it may take a minute to catch up. So the other day I had a really awesome bash fest with a couple of guys, and we went out to Ipswich and we just abused the cars. And I've been showing the Bison a lot on here, seeing how tough it is. And I found the break point this past weekend. So let me just pull this guy out here for a second for you. You can see this whole front end is just kind of hanging on right now. Some pretty big jumps it took to do this, and it's actually not that bad of a break considering the air that we were doing. So one of the weak points that I found is definitely here on the shock tower. There's a bolt that runs through and holds the shocks on, and it's got a little plastic spacer. And so that is a weak point. In fact, part of it's still in there. It's just that the bolt sheared off right at this nut that's here. So I've got to add another spacer. I've got another bolt to run through here, some washers, and I'm using metal washers this time as my spacer, and then a lock nut for the end. So I've got everything because I've already replaced this one. And the other thing is that there's a little plastic bushing that goes in here to hold the pin from the arm into the chassis, and that little plastic thing just chipped. I ordered some from Amazon for the Hellion 4TR truck, and those came in. It was like $6, so it's going to be an expensive fix. So there are a couple break points, but considering how hard I've bashed that thing for days on end now, it's gotten quite a few good bashings. The brakes that are very minimal considering. So pretty tough truck, even though it's sitting here in shambles on my bench right now. All right, so we've got a few questions. Does anyone own a Slash, is what RC Muscle is asking. Somebody in this bunch has got to own a Slash. Tristan says 3 of them. Haha, Bar Harbor, it was a pretty killer bash. Hold on 1 second. That truck is shedding dirt. There's dirt coming out of every crevice on it. Would you recommend a cheap HPI over an expensive Traxxas with almost the same speed and durability, or do they have a lot of servo problems like the Merv or something? That's from It's BRC as far as the question goes. What type of HPI are you looking at? Are you looking at like an XS or I don't know that HPI is necessarily a cheap car. I think it's still very hobby grade. With any of them, even some of the expensive rigs, though, you can have servo issues and a lot of things like that. So even in my Losi, I ended up swapping out and getting a much beefier servo from Savox or however you want to pronounce it. And then you're going to be much better off at that point anyway. So get usually faster response, a little bit beefier, get metal gears. So, hey, Austin, yes, I do remember you. Tristan, what city do I live in? I live in a small city called Chesapeake. It's actually very large as far as land mass, but as far as people go, it's not a huge city or anything. We're spread out all over this southeastern Virginia area by Virginia Beach. Hey, Steve, man, how's it going? I thought I'd just open up for some Q&A while I don't have any other videos except repairs to be doing, and I'm not going to video those. I'm just going to work on them in my spare time. So, thought I'd open up to, do I speak any other languages? Ryan Smith asks. I have a hard enough grasp on the English language. No, I have a little bit of Spanish from high school and college, but I didn't use it for about 10 years, so it kind of is not so great anymore. Bale asks, should I buy an X-Max? Yes. If you have the money, you should totally buy an X-Max, especially now that they've upgraded it to 8S. RC Addict says definitely buy X-Max. It is an insanely fun rig to drive, whether you have jumps or you're just on dirt, because it tears it up. In Utah? No, I'm in Virginia. I know you've reviewed it, but a lot of reviewers don't experience problems before reviewing. You asking about the RS4 Sport 3 Flux? My bro has the XS. He says it's awesome, but I don't know. Oh, you're talking about like an RS4 Sport 3 Flux. What would you get in the Traxxas if you were going to get a Traxxas speed car? Like a Rustler? I don't do much with speed. I actually just sold my RS4 Sport 3 Flux. I never had any place to run it, so it just sat on a shelf. It looked awesome on the shelf, but somebody that could use it, I'd rather them have it and it be out being run. So, but yeah, I mean, if you want a fast car, if you get something like a Rustler, you're gonna get more ground clearance. You're gonna have more places you can run it, more things you can do with it. If you want to swap stuff out and take it in the dirt. You can do that as well. You have a lot more options if you go that route. So, I don't know. Maybe that answers the question. RC Muscle saying it's stupid fast on 8S. I can't wait to see one on 8S. I don't have the money right now to do the conversion, but I also don't have the money to buy the batteries at the moment. So, I'll probably just be watching people destroy theirs on 8S. But really, for what I do and for where I run, 6S is plenty good. I haven't had the problems with the pinion and all that in the front, the front diff that people are having. I did go through one, but it took quite a beating to destroy that front diff. I mean, I was running it through water. I hadn't done anything. It was box stock. I never cleaned it, never waterproofed it, nothing. I just ran it, and eventually it died, but it took quite a beating before it did. But I'm also not, and see, some of the thing is, you're going 8S, you're going to start doing speed runs with it and things like that. And if you're going hard on the gas and then you're jamming the brakes on, or you're doing a lot of changing from your speed to braking, that's when you're going to really chew those up. I'm not really doing that. I'm going up in the air and I'm letting it land and I coast it out at the end. So mine's a little bit different in the way that I run it. And so I really haven't had much issue. They're not made for much speed. I don't know, man. It's BRC. You're saying you were thinking about a Rustler, but they're not really made for some speed as much as an RS4. The RS4 is made for speed. Out of the box, it doesn't really handle it well. It needs some modding, but a lot of the speed runs that I actually watch are people running rustlers. So a lot of the guys up at our local track are running rustlers on the drag strips. So I wouldn't say that it's not made for speed, but that's what people use it for. I look like Tyler from Dude Perfect. I don't know who Tyler is. I know what Dude Perfect is. Those guys are awesome. They're awesome. Did anybody see what's it? Devin Graham, I think? The Supertramp guy. That does those videos. He just did one where they were on like the speeder bikes, but they were on the water. So they use those like jet propulsion water, using water propulsion to lift them off the air, and they're flying and all that. It's a super sick video. We should post a link to that. Furious RC, how's the bison? It's in several pieces right now on the bench right over here. But it's doing well considering. It just needs a new bolt and a new plastic spacer bushing type thing. But yeah. Hey Jack, hey Rich. Guys, I just saw some people pop in. So again, this is just for what we're doing here. Anybody that wants to ask questions, pop them in. I'll ask as best I can, but feel free, people, to chime in the comments, because my answers aren't the best, especially when it comes to like speed runs, because that's not necessarily my game. I watch a lot of RC videos, so I can speak somewhat to it as far as what I see. And so for like what I was just talking about, I do see a lot of wrestlers doing speed runs. Do I see club racing going away more or increasing in 2017? Club racing has seemed like smaller numbers even locally from what I've seen recently. But I don't know. I mean, I don't really track it that much. I'm more use RC on kind of like pure enjoyment basis. I don't do it competitively. I just have fun with it out with a bunch of guys. So I can't really speak to that. Maybe somebody else can speak to that. See, he's saying club racing is actually growing. One of the cool things that they're doing here in Virginia Beach is that they are actually doing like a vintage car class with the buggies, like the old RC10s. It's really stupid awesome looking. They've got some, I think it's Facebook Live they're using to stream the videos right now, which is kind of a bummer if you're not on Facebook following that. You can't just like search it on YouTube. But you might be able to search it through Facebook videos and see, but they're doing some cool vintage racing. Should be getting my bison in the next few days. Thanks for the ice the other day, buddy. Kenneth, I think you're going to have a lot of fun with it. Mine, like I said, is broken, but it took insane beating to get to that, and about $10 in parts is going to get it up and running. So I was trying to do double backflips, and I didn't I didn't land it. We'll just say that. I got all squirrely. Trying to get my RC up and going, but none of the stores have my type of motor. James, man, where you at? You're looking for him for the little mini desert truck, is that right? Because I could probably send you a link. I picked up my motors for my mini desert truck on Amazon, and it was like $10, I think, to get another brush motor for it. I might even have one laying around that I can send you. SBRC, we should raid one of Jang's videos, but he turned off the comments, so you can't really rate it that well. You'd have to go to his Jang's Bricks, which is where, it's funny, I'll be at home and I'll hear Jang's voice, and it's my kids watching his Lego videos. His walkthrough of his Lego room is pretty insane. It's like a 24-minute tour of his room, and it is unbelievable. All right, I'm going to try and catch back up. Am I planning on fixing the bison and doing more videos with it? Furious RC. Of course I'm planning on fixing it. I'm running this thing just like any other car that I have. It's an insane rig. I mean, I've broken most of mine. I fix them and I get back out and run them. In fact, the parts just came in the mail for it yesterday. But here's the thing. So I got this really awesome quad in the mail Thursday, I believe. But I couldn't open it and even look at it because we were going to see Rogue One in the evening right after we got home, ate, went and saw the movie. Got up the next day, left right from work, actually left early and went up to Christmastown in Williamsburg, and then camped up in Williamsburg for a night. Came home. That's when I was able to finally open this and unbox it on Saturday and posted the video last night. Took it out to fly it today, and I've actually got video on here, on this right here, imported, of all of my crashing and terrible flying that I did with it. These things are tricky. Nothing like my DJIs or any of my other things. So, but yes, we're going to get the Bison back up and bashing very soon. It's one of my favorite cars to run. I might like running it more than my X-Max, honestly. The flips and the jumps that this thing does is insane. Super fast. So that's your answer, Furious RC. Where did you get the Defender in the back? I actually bought that Defender from RC Crawler Workbench. Nate, he lives here in Chesapeake as well. Met him through YouTube. We got together. I ended up buying it from him. Didn't know what I was going to do with it. I just bought the body. He'd had some issue with his in something in RC four-wheel drive. Sent him another one, so he had the spare body. And so I bought it off him. And then I modified a G-Made sawback to fit underneath the body, kind of. So it doesn't really attach really well at this point. I need to find a way. I need to find somebody that knows how to build and fabricate to help me kind of finish that build to get it to stay on better. All right, James, I'm trying to follow back up. You'd get a new car, but it's been in the family since it came out. That's cool, man. Most of them are fixable. We just got to find the right part. I'll try and send you a link to one. RC Ken. Yeah, his stuff is insane. If you see Rogue One, did you like the movie? I did like the movie. My kids hated the movie. They couldn't stand it. So they're 6 and 7. It's dark, so I'll say that. I mean, it's between 3 and 4, and there's got to be darkness for A New Hope to make sense. So, do I have the Mavic Pro? I wish I did. I do not have the Mavic Pro. My buddy does, and it's insane. Have you had an Arma Typhon, and is it good? That's my main backup for RS4. If not, then please review it. It's BRC. I don't have anything Arma at this point. If I'm going to get anything to review, I'm going to buy the Outcast. I'm going to be honest. For what I do, looks like a really killer truck. So that's what I'm looking at. But, yeah. To Infinity and Beyond. That's what the Bison does. That's for sure, man. What are the upgrades to the X-Max? You know, I haven't looked too closely at them. Bar Harbor Basher, if he's still in here, he would know best. And sorry I'm playing catch-up on some of these guys. But I know that there's like a new rear end. So I think like the rear diff drivetrain, all of that is redone. But I'm not sure exactly. It's $300, so hopefully it's something substantial. $200 or $300. They're flying in here. There's a snake in my boot. How do I fix the gear? RC authorities want people to go check out his video. We should do that, guys. It says Traxxas Stampede VXL bashing. Always awesome when new videos come out. There we go. Rich says he's going to check it out. Steve, RC Tanks and Trucks says totally agree about liking the Bison over the X-Max. Don't feel as guilty when I slaughter the Bison. The X-Max, on the other hand, I don't really feel guilty about slaughtering either of them. With the X-Max, I just don't expect it to break. So, yeah. Bale All Out says, what is the best RC you own? It depends what I'm doing. Scaling, I love the new SCX-10 II. It can tackle anything. Uh, for my bashing cars, again, it's becoming a toss-up between the Bison and the X-Max. The X-Max is, more expensive, more power. It just feels insane when you drive it. There's something about it that, I don't know, it feels like you can actually feel what it's doing on the ground through the controller, which you can't. But the way that it's responsive and the way that it plants and reacts, you almost feel the power in the controller. So it's insane. It's kind of a feeling I don't get when I drive any of the other cars. It doesn't feel as much like a toy as the rest do. So these are flying by. Bashing's always good. Epic Thrash Machines, Cheetah. I only have 2 vids and they're the Merv driving around. 2-wheel drive versus 4-wheel drive for short course. What's my preference for general bashing? 4-wheel drive is always my preference. I don't know what to say there. I mean, some people, it depends what you want to do. But you're going to get better turning. You're going to get, better grip, better traction, better control. A little bit more work for 4-wheel drive. So maybe if you don't like to work on them, 2-wheel drive's usually very simple to work on. Because you don't have the differentials and things like that. Are you reading these or just comments? Comments. John, I'm reading these just live as they come in as quickly as I can. You're my friend with my iMovie because can't afford good editing stuff. It's BRC. Use anything you can to edit. It doesn't matter. I started on like Pinnacle Studio. It's like $60 on a PC. Will the SCX2 transmission fit the XCX10? Anybody? Anybody have an answer to that? I don't know that question. Mine is still running the old transmission, so because I got the RTR version, so I don't have the upgraded transmission in my SCX10. So somebody else can probably answer that better than I can. I would think it would. I don't know why it couldn't be modded to fit. As long as, you might have to get a whole new base plate that'll mount into your frames, but I don't know why it wouldn't work. So Kenneth, man, you should be excited. Although there's one guy in here that took his out and immediately broke it. He hit a root under the ground that he didn't see, and it just tore his whole front wheel off. But he took it up to Hobby Town after seeing the video about it being basically a clone of the Hellion, and they fixed it up for him. John Smith just went larger scale. Summit and love it. That's awesome, man. What do I think of the Arma Nero diff brain? I haven't used anything Arma. I need to. I keep watching Arma stuff. They just look like awesome bashers. Should you go X-Max or Losi MTXL? That's a good question. That's those Losis are pretty awesome. Actually, Steve had some hands-on experience with RC Tanks and Trucks 24/7. He might be able to better answer that if he's still on. I know a guy up at our local hobby shop that swears by those Losis, and he's had the X-Max, so it's hard to say. What I like about the X-Max is it's really easy to work on. They've put a lot of thought into how they engineered that thing. So actually replacing that front diff was probably the easiest diff replacement that I've done. So, and there's parts galore. 1/5 scale gas is fun, but you need a place to run it, says Discover RC. I haven't actually seen one run in person yet. I would love to. It just looks like an awesome type of vehicle to run. Try to film with a DJI and an Osmo. It's BRC, and sometimes the quality is bad after upload. That doesn't really make sense. I don't know why it would be. I use an Osmo sometimes, and as long as you're exporting it properly, it should be fine. And as long as you're going to YouTube and making sure that it's on the HD settings. RC Authority asks, when did I get into the hobby? You know, I've been trying to pinpoint that date back to the exact time. But it started with a grave digger. And I got it when I moved into this house. So it was about 3 to 4 years ago now. Probably 3.5 years ago. But time's flying faster than I think it is these days, so it could be 4 years. But it's somewhere in that range, 3 to 4 years. I could probably like do a search through some of the photos and find like kind of a timeline of when it loaded into my my photo stream. RC Authority says I would go with a Stampede 2-wheel drive. Get a Slash. I'm missing the question. Who asked it? Kenneth. Any advice for first time? This will be my first decent RC. Brandon's saying hope to see it Ipswich next time. You should bring out the SCX-10 too. Try it up the hill climb. I was able to get the SCX-10 250 up. Wow, that's cool, man. Which hill climb are you speaking of? I don't know that. I haven't been to the back section of Ipswich in probably 6 months now. It would have been in the spring. Is the last time I actually went back there and did anything more than just some of the small trails. But I need to get it out. I actually had my SCX-10 with me when I was out doing the big bashing last week and just didn't run it. We had too much fun bashing. RC Tanks and Trucks said his 4-year-old can ride on his X-Max. That's awesome. Okay, these are jumping. What got me into the hobby? Ipswich got me into the hobby. Ipswich is a set of trails here in Chesapeake. I lived a block away from them, off of the road that actually goes back in and dead ends off of Miller Avenue, I believe, Miller Road. And so I lived there for 2 years. We got broken into, actually. Someone stole our laptops, TV, all that. And that's when we decided to move. But I used to race BMX bikes, and seeing those jumps, I brought my BMX bike out. I didn't crash or anything, but I pulled my neck pretty good and messed up some stuff in my neck. I probably manualing, and I realized that I'm too old for that, and I've got a job I've got to do and things like that. So I decided to look for an RC car to run on the trails. And I went to Target and I bought a piece of junk that I returned. Had no idea what I was getting into. Then I saw some guys, what I thought was running on a BMX track, and it turned out to be an RC track at an RC store that was just up the road that I had no idea existed in the 2 years that I lived there. So pretty crazy. Jumped in, been gangbusters ever since. So that was Exclusive's question. RC must see. Don't get Bison or Cheetah when they break. It's difficult to get replacement parts from China. I'm dealing with it now. Have Cheetah and it broke on second use. I would say that about the Cheetah. I'm not going to say that about the Bison, because the Bison was basically bought out by Helion, which is Hobbytown's company. And so the 410 Helion 410 TR, the Truggy, is a Bison with a new body on it and new electronics. So you can get parts for the Bison here in the US pretty easily on Amazon. So I just actually go to the Helian website, I pull up their manual, I get their parts number from the exploded view and order them that way. Makes it super simple. Get them on eBay, get them on Amazon, get them from Hobbytown. In fact, Hobbytown will stock some of the parts. So RC Must See, I would say that about the Cheetah. I haven't found good US parts for that yet, although Amazon has some. What can you do to fix the car? Back axle won't move. Replace the back axle. That's probably what I would do, because I don't like to muck around with them too much. So, am I in MA Discover RC? No, I'm in VA, just south of you guys. It was 70 degrees here today. In fact, it's kind of warm up here right now. I should probably open up the window because it's finally cooling off. It was like freezing cold Friday night, like 30 degrees when we were at Christmas Town. And then today it's like 70 degrees. It's insane. Always prefer, Steven, I'm with you. Always prefer a four-wheel drive. RC Authority, yeah, the two-wheel drive for ease of working on. I did mention that, definitely. Yeah, anything RC Must See, when you do order from China, it's going to take a while to get it. That's kind of the breaks. Should I get the SCX-10 too, or continue upgrading your SCX-10? That's Rithik. Rithik, it depends what you want to do. So I could have just kept investing in my SCX-10, which is sitting right down below. I did get the screws to actually finish the light kit, and I'm waiting for lights that RC Crawler Workbench is making for me. He's being cool, and he's got all these light LED lights and cable, and he's actually going to make it so that it runs right off of the balance lead off of the battery, so I'm not having to run it through my my receiver. So that's kind of really awesome of him. So I really like that setup, and so I said, yes, I'll let you do that. But I could have gotten like nicer axles, I could have gotten more metal parts and spent hundreds of dollars doing that, but what I wanted was a second really reliable truck, which was really lucky for me because we went out trailing and I busted my SCX-10, but I had a backup truck and I just pulled out of the car and started running it. So I'm going to only probably really invest in upgrading and hopping up one of them, but I'll have something that's basically like a ready to run or something that's pretty stock, but solid truck to run. I would probably do links and things like that, upgrade those. My servo, I would probably upgrade from maybe what is the stock one. But I don't mind my brush motors. I don't mind keeping a lot of that very basic. Can you tell me a little bit about the Slash 4x4? Jenny Sanders 29 asks. It's probably one of the most popular short course trucks that you can get. There's parts everywhere for it. It's not maybe a great racer because it sits a little higher off the ground, but that's what makes it such a great truck for just running. If you're going to run it in your yard or on the trails or on rocks or dirt or anything, it has better ground clearance. It's a really solid truck. If you get the VXL, those things are stupid fast. Lots of people have them. Lots of people have parts if something goes wrong with yours that you can, maybe barter with them to get some. So yeah, it's a really solid truck. I don't have one, but if I got another short course that I wasn't going to race, I would get that. You have the Airhogs radio-controlled USS Enterprise. What do you do if one of the propellers breaks? Gordon, I would contact Airhogs and see if they have any propellers that you can get. They might just say to send it in. RC Must-See says he'll have a... Oh, I lost it. A fixed running video for you on Tuesday. Subscribe. Clicking over right now. And I am subscribed to you already. And now I lost the feed. And I'm probably going to lose my spot in the comments. Oops. All right, you're in Chicago. So where were we? It's after Gordon. There's Gordon. So RC Muscle. I'm trying to catch up. Slashes can take a beating. Yes, local track is getting shut down. Tristan, that sucks. Where's that local track? Oh, yeah, you got the Slash Ultimate? That's an awesome truck. Your son will love it. RC Must See, how did you get duped into the Cheetah? I'd be curious to hear that. Ryan Smith, have you thought about making an RC track in your yard? I had one. I don't have one right now, but I'll have another one, and it's going to be better. I don't know if it's going to be a track. I never really got anybody out here to run it with me, but there's going to be some bigger jumps this time for sure. You can count on it. What batteries do I use? From Bale All Out. I prefer Venom batteries, Bias. I prefer name brand batteries. I haven't had any catch on fire, so I prefer hard packs if I can get them. And I use Traxxas connectors on almost everything, except these drones will be XT60s. 70, dang, it's like 9 here. Sorry, man. All right, trying to catch up. 0 here in Chicago. Ouch! And then, you know it's windy too, because it's Chicago. Oh man, I can't. What's the wind chill, Rich? RC authorities in Pennsylvania. When it snows in Pennsylvania, it snows. I've gotten stuck there, going through the mountains trying to get back home to Michigan. When I go back to where I grew up. Tebow is here. Yes, Jax. 2 storms. Montana, and it's 11 but below 0. Holy cow. Jenny Sanders, you should probably look at getting one with those little snowplow trucks. Or what are the ones that medics always run in an RC Spark? The Kyosho Blizzard. You should get one of those to run if you live in Montana. Wow. L2RC, what are your thoughts on the new version of the X-Max due out in February? It looks like a killer version upgrade of what I bought in the first version. I'm a little bit saddened that mine's not going to be upgraded and that it costs the same amount. It's insane. It's a great deal. People should totally buy it if they got the money. And if they don't mind spending, I mean, it's a lot of money to drop on an RC car. I think I'm caught up. Driving it, and it's in Castle Creations. Thanks, Rithik, if you're talking to me. Alright, poor man saying I got a message on Google Plus. I'll have to try and find a way to look at that. RC tanks and trucks come to Australia, he'll melt. Yeah, it's warm. Man, it was so hot here today. We were almost complaining. Like, we had to put shorts on. I'm in shorts right now still. Because it's warm. Although the wind is kicked up. It was really windy. So we were actually doing 2 things that you shouldn't do on a windy day. So first runs with this quad, super windy. I mean, I was constantly fighting the wind when I wanted to try and keep it in one place, which is not like my DJI where it just will do it for me. So that, and then we were shooting bow and arrows. So having to try and adjust for wind was pretty hilarious. So barely snows in Kansas. You just got the tornadoes to worry about there. Whew, wind chill was 25 below a couple weeks ago. Ouch. Michael Marlowe's right across the water in Newport News. Very cool, man. Do you ever come up to Ipswich and run up there? I guess come down to Ipswich would be the appropriate way of saying that. Or to Debbie's RC World. I know a lot of people go to RC Pro. Oh, here we go. I see you're running in some woods here. Hill climbing. Just pulled up your channel. Let's sub for that. Ryan Smith, I like Savic servos. I agree with you there. For a Traxxas Stampede two-wheel drive, Metal Gear servo, I've just kept in my Stampede. I just keep going with the Traxxas one. But what actually breaks is the servo horn, or the servo saver breaks on mine. I did have to replace one after like a mud bash and all that, but I just got another Traxxas one. They're inexpensive and it keeps running. You might look at a high-tech Metal Gear for the Stampede. Tristan, we have a local track called Debbie's RC World. Michael says he's going to come try the scale track for the first time this week. I need to get back over to the scale track. I haven't run it since they've expanded around the corner side there. But I haven't run up there as much as I used to this year. It's just been busy. But I've been up there a lot more recently. In fact, I was up there buying Fat Sharks and stuff for this quadcopter. So, here we go. Furious RC's saying there's a metal upgrade to the Traxxas 2075 servo. So just take it apart, put the upgrades in. That's probably, just a really decent bet to do if you're not having any other issues. The Castle SV3 short course would be a great one. You could also look, if you're looking cheaper, you might, do a hobby wing or something. Am I going to get the SC28? Hey Dre, how's it going, man? How do you get water out of the tires? Alex Bale, that's a good question. What I do to get water out of my tires is I drill a little hole on two sides of them, or four, but directly across from each other, and then I just drive it really fast, and the water, centrifugal force pulls the water out those little holes, and it goes flying out. Gordon, I haven't tried the USS Enterprise. How does that actually fly? It seems like it would be weighted so weird. Rich is saying to just squeeze out the tires. That's another way. For while I'm out running, if they get wet and they're going, I just gun it. I have the holes pre-drilled in them. Water's going to get in whether or not they're drilled, and then I just let it fly out. Steve, RC Tanks and Trucks says, wish I had a track in the backyard. I constantly steal the BMX track and risk slamming someone in the face with the low-flying bison. That's hilarious. Yeah, I'm with you, Tebow. That's how I do it. Very tiny, just small drill bit. But, yeah, so this, I've seen Tebow. He's been flying his quad really great. I've been watching a lot of quad videos, just trying to figure out how I want to get into this, what I want to do with this. And there's some really amazing flyers out there, and I'm not one of them. I was completely humbled when I took this up in the air and realized how hard it was to fly. Now, I will say that I was trying to film with the method that I was saying I want to get away from, which is the little screen, because I just kept going back to line of sight, and it just isn't working with this type of flying to do line of sight. So at the very end, I started to just go and use the monitor only, because I was trying to basically do a review of what it would be like with the parts that you get. And so I was just only using the monitor. I wasn't looking up, and I was flying much better. I was able to actually pull off a couple of flips and things like that on my second run with it. So I'm looking forward to it. That's a pretty cool way to run, and I'm excited to actually get the Fat Sharks on and give it a try that way. After I get this into clean flight and upgrade the firmware and enable a fail-safe and all that. And I want to get a buzzer for it because I crashed it one of the times pretty far away, almost in some weeds, and I'd have been in a lot of trouble. Luckily, I did not make it all the way to the weeds. Poor man RC, when you doing another Google Plus chat live? Very soon. I'm going to try and every once in a while do some of these live Q&As because I tried to do just a live video and it became a Q&A. So I thought, well, if people have questions, I'll just open it up for it. Thibaut, how did you do flying? It has met the ground. I've got to reattach this bumper plate here for the Firefly, which I lost the little sun hood on it already. Got some dirt caked in it because it's a little bit muddy here from the rain we've had. But overall, I didn't fly it how I expect to try and fly it in the future, which is how it kind of ended. I just wanted to make sure I got some footage, basically, of it flying and running it a little bit to see how it handled line of sight, make sure everything was working all right. First flip was the first crash that I had, and I tried to do it line of sight. I tried to look at it, and that was just a big no-no. Because when I did it later and I was watching the monitor, way easier to stop and level off. So that was my first mistake. Other crash, I don't know exactly what happened, actually. I don't know. I did notice on a couple when I would actually start lowering the throttle a bit, it kind of did some wonky things. So I think I need to definitely get it in and tune it. Changing the gearing, RC Muscle's giving some advice. That's good advice. What 32 pitch gears are best for extremely tough terrain? I don't have an answer for you there, Blacksmith. Trying to quickly go through some questions here. Mark Pethtel says he thinks the Cheetah is the same as a Hellion for parts. It definitely is. It's definitely the same car. In fact, I like the body on the Hellion, or the Helion, so I actually might order one of their clear bodies and paint my own. Right, Smith. It does look like a squished squirrel with a mushroom growing out of it. T-Boy, I think you're right. I'm gonna get a if I don't get it for Christmas, I'm gonna buy it for myself. I'm gonna get one of the little inductrix so that I can work on the FPV in the house with less consequences, get used to flying lower to the ground, and then move that over to this. So I found also that when I was flying FPV, the way that I flew was much better for video as well. When I was flying line of sight, I wasn't really flying with the video in mind, and so my turns and everything were kind of wonky when you actually play it back as video. It's not just a fluid, smooth feeling to it. So. But it's a new game. I've also got these other cars that I want to work on and keep going. So I'll devote some time to this, but definitely my passion is for the bashing cars, the jumping, the trailing, things like that. And I don't know. I mean, this may grow on me a whole lot more, but there's something about the way, you know, lining up a jump for me that's just one of my favorite things to do. Looking at an SCX10 build, what is the major difference with the SCX10-2 version, and which one would you buy? If you're doing the kit version, there's a lot more differences for the SCX10-2. Straight away, one of the things that you'll find just from operation is the amount of turn. Your turn radius is just so much better with the SCX10-2 without having to mod it. The transmission is completely rebuilt if you get the kit version, and you'll get a much nicer transmission in the SCX10-2. So I would probably lean toward the 2 if it's not much more money. Yeah, it's more, Tebow, for just getting used to just flying and not looking at the quad. I'll have to go back and watch your first video, Tebow, and see how mine compares, because when I was watching it was pretty bad. But I wasn't really doing the FPV either, so, and it was so windy that I was just basically trying my best to keep it out of the trees. So I need to get to a bigger field. I was trying to do it in my backyard, which is big but limited because there's so many branches and trees in that large yard that the space I could fly felt very tight. And the second you punch it, these are so fast, you're immediately spinning the other way and pushing to hit, you know, basically hit the brakes. And so that's what I was meaning by they weren't like smooth turns or anything. All right, James, have fun at work. Anybody got anything that they're looking forward to with the holiday break? RC wise, you guys have anything that you're going to do? Are you hoping to get any RC toys or goodies? Upgrades? New cars? Any of that? Alright, Jenny says go to her channel. We'll go ahead and we'll head on over there. First Traxxas slash 4x4. SCX10. She does have a video of it here. Oh yeah, it's brushless. Casual Creations. Looks like the upgraded shock springs. It's a nice looking truck. The flag on it, rocking the flag. Very cool. Looks like some snow. Studded tires. Yeah, definitely hooked up. It's a nice looking rig. RC Bashing 164, you're saying, is the X-Max good to start with, or I don't know what the KK2 board is that you're asking about. The multi-rotor LCD. Oh, it's the flight control. Don't know anything about those. Somebody else will have to answer the FPV stuff. I just literally got into it, so. Ryan Smith, the new pit mat and a new B5M body under the tree. Score. People are hoping for upgrades. Yeah, Tebow, you're going to get back to building some cars, huh? I know you've had a lot of projects you're talking about getting to. The Red Cat Crawler, very cool. Poor man RC, I've never had a problem with the SCX10 trans either. They're just supposed to have upgraded the way that these new ones work, and somebody might explain that better. I'm not sure if it's actually I think it's a 2-speed in the kit. I've been busy researching things, but not the CX-10-2. Gonna head to Alaska tomorrow and get the XO1. You mean like the speed cars and that the Traxxas one? If it is, that's a really sweet looking car. L2RC, you're hoping for the Outcast, would be awesome. I would look forward to seeing that video. Games on iPad says I can get 6RCs for Christmas. Which ones should I get? Everyone's got to chime in on that. I don't even know. That's a lot of RCs to get. I wouldn't even know where, after like 3 or 4, where to keep going. RC Battery 164, getting X Max for Christmas, but paying for most of it. I totally understand. And try the new Castle censored motors. If so, yay or nay? I've not tried the new ones yet. Furious RC. Go ahead and sub some people on here that I'm seeing come in. Jay Sanders, yeah, there's the Traxxas XO1. 100 plus miles an hour, that just sounds stupid fast. Oh, DJI Phantom 4. Those are really great quads. I have the DJI Phantoms that I fly for work for doing video production. Just nothing like flying those things. It actually feels like cheating. I mean, you get amazing footage, but I don't know, there's not the thrill of flying it that I get even from flying, you know, like these little quads like this speeder bike here. So, I don't know, but just because you have to be actively flying these things a lot more, I just find them to be more fun than a Phantom for just pure enjoyment. But for filming, you cannot really beat the Phantom. But the Mavic Pro looks even better because of how portable it is. I'm the first person you've seen that's ever said that I like the toy ones more than the Phantom. Is that what you're saying, Kenneth? I mean, it's just different. It's just, you have to work at flying them, and so there's kind of like, there's sport in it. With the Phantom, you can just be like, go fly, and just let it go, and it'll do its thing, and it'll come back, and it'll land, and it'll be amazing footage, and you'll be like, you know, eating a Big Mac or something the whole time. Oh. Well, thank you, Jenny Sanders. I don't know that I do, but that's quite a compliment. I love watching the RC Adventures stuff. Very, very passionate guy who does a really cool. He goes extra. I mean, most of my stuff stock out of the box. His are always like, whoa, where did that even come from? He's got cool, like, tricked out stuff that I really enjoy watching. But we just try and keep it open, have fun, just chat with everybody. It's just kind of, you know, it's such a cool hobby, getting together and being able to answer. So many people answered questions for me when I got started, and they still answer questions for me. You know, I rolled into my hobby shop and was like, I didn't get this from you guys, but I need stuff to make it fly. And they were super cool and helpful. They looked it up online. Made sure that I had everything that I needed to get it connected because the FPV stuff is new to me. They helped me pick out some FPV glasses or goggles, sorry. And I'll be actually upgrading my controller probably here and receivers to get something that can work across the board. So, but yeah, people are always really cool. Tebow, you and I both. I realized the second I said it, no, I shouldn't have said that. The Sen Racing truck. I haven't seen that yet. I need to take a look at that. Hey Ben D, what's going on? Do I have an E-Revo? No, I kind of wish I did, but I don't. What's the best cheap RC? Games on iPad. Tebow says ECX Ruckus. I disagree and I say the ECX Amp. It's cheaper. And I think it actually just handles a whole lot better. It'll need upgrades in the future. I semi-agree with Tebow. I mean, it's very similar cars. It uses parts from the Ruckus. I don't like the big monster truck wheels on the Ruckus. I don't like when you reverse how it does the whole wobble thing. I feel like the amp is more balanced in the air. The controller's kind of funky looking because it's small and it's like cheaper and it's got a, the ESC and receiver are a single unit. It's like a combo. And so if you're going to replace your controller, you've got to replace your ESC and receiver controller combo, which can still be done pretty inexpensively if you get basically the ESC that runs in the ECX Ruckus is about $20. And then if you get a new controller system that's a little bit more hobby grade, you'd I think have a better truck in the ECX amp. That's just my take on it. Driven them both. Just like the, it's more of a short course truck, I guess, in a way. It's a little smaller, but the way that it just flies, it just always lands on its wheels. I think it gets better air. I think it's faster and quicker. That's just my take. ECX Torment is another good one. Do you check out the lights for your SCX10? I did, Ben, but I actually have RC Crawler Workbench said he was going to make me some that would actually plug into my balance lead on my battery, and I like that option better because my receiver is actually kind of full at the moment, so I'm going to go that route this time around. I have many RCs. The Hellion Select 410 SC is a great short course truck. That's awesome, man. That's from Michael Marlowe. And that, again, I think is by the V-Car group that makes... If it's the Select series, I think that's who makes them. The people that make the Bison is the Select TR, it's the Truggy. And then the SC is the short course of that 410 series. It's really solid vehicles. Shout out to 2G Gaming. RC Muscle says, Torment is a good, cheap RC. Totally agree. ECX has really good budget RCs that are in the 10th scale realm. Jenny Sanders, I don't know, should I get the X-Max or the X01? You just want to drive with your son. He's got a Slash. I would say get the X-Max. Any day. Any day of the week, the X-Max. You're going to be limited where you can drive the X01. Streets. If he's going to take his X-Max or his Slash off into the dirt, he's got the big old tires on it. You're going to run in the snow, X-Max, 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 and X-Max probably. Those would be my... If it costs the same, I think you're going to get more use out of the X-Max. It's pretty heavy though, so be prepared to maybe get something to, like a dolly or something to wheel it on. Jenny Sanders 29 wants to shout out SCX10 or Wraith. Oh, there's a time I would have said SCX10, but I've seen people with Wraith just doing so much stuff. It depends on what you want to do with it. Slower trail stuff, SCX10's cool. The Wraith is just like an all-around beast. Poor Man RC, I think we do all wish we had an E-Revo. It is just such a sick car. What do I think about the Traxxas link? I don't think much about it because I didn't pay to invest into it at all. So, yeah. Ryan Smith, I wish I had a mini e-Revo. I kind of would say the same thing. The other one's a little bigger probably than what I'd want it for. I would probably want the mini if I could get it to do the same flips and all that. So 2G Gaming and Jenny Sanders 29 both want shout outs. Check out their channels. You see my terrain. I always prefer monster trucks over short course trucks. Tebow, that's correct. But the amp can handle both. It's not really super small like short course. It's still kind of like a monster truck. It's just different. I don't know. There's something awesome about it. RC Tanks and Trucks 24/7 X01 is good in a straight line. That's about it. If you can keep it in a straight line. And then if you can't, correcting it's gonna be in a world of hurt. Tell me about my charging station. Do you do anything special? I wish I could show you my charging station right now. It is the biggest nightmare of a mess of cables and different adapters and multi-chargers, and it's a nightmare specifically right now. But I use a high-tech multi 4 battery charger, 4-port. I don't remember the name of it. High-tech. Anybody? It's got a big old power supply that runs it all, and then I can charge 4 batteries at the same time, and it is awesome. I use also the high-tech, I think it's the XA1 or X1A, and that's just a single battery charger. So if I'm going to go up just to the track for lunch break or something, I'll just carry that single one with me, and I'll charge 1 battery at a time. I've really had a great experience with the high-tech chargers, and so I upgraded from that to basically the multi-port version of that. If you have an airport or a 1-to-1 racetrack, get an X01. Do I think $750 for the e-Revo is worth it? I would totally buy one used on Facebook for about $350. I'm gonna break it probably pretty soon anyway, so even if it's doing some repairs to one for $350, it's probably minimal. With repairs, I'd be in at it for $500. A lot of them come with batteries and extras, so I would look used. But it's up to you. If I spend $750, I get an X-Max. Games on iPad. How often do you go live and shout out? I don't know. We'll find out. I've done it a couple times now. We used to do it as Hangouts, and then YouTube jacked with everything, and we've basically been trying to find a rhythm again. What batteries do you use? What are your ratings on Traxxas and Axial? Traxxas and Axial, I give them both big thumbs ups. Can get parts for them anywhere. They just work. Never had anything bad from either one, except Axial Yeti, but that was my fault. I didn't drive it right, and that solid rear axle just didn't handle the way I needed it to. Poor man RC, you're a cool dude. Stop it. Who's stop it? What happened? Did somebody say something? Did I say something that needs to be stopped? High Tech 44167X4 AC plus 4-port AC. That is the one. e-Revo or Bison? If you can afford it, the e-Revo. If not, the Bison's a pretty rad runner-up. But you're going to get parts. Yeah, it is the X4 High Tech. So it's $209, and then you got to get like a $100 battery pack, or doesn't have to be $100, but you need a power supply, and they can run upwards of that, depending on what kind you get. But yeah, Furious RC, I'd say e-Revo. the shock mounts, the way that they've done the shocks is insane. The handling, really, really awesome. So I didn't see what happened. I think I missed something. Poor man RC. I'm not sure if it was me or what. RC tanks and trucks by 3. I see you, RC Authority. I don't know what's going on. Oh, I see. Alright, well, we're just going to put him in timeout for right now. He can come in again in 5 minutes if he wants to clean it up. If not, we're going to kick him off. But this is a kid-friendly channel, so we're going to just keep it, keep everything clean. And if not, then we'll just we'll let him go because it's about the larger group, and we don't need somebody coming in and kind of pestering it. So, anyway, if you get the e-Revo and run it success, you will need to get better tires for it. That's the one nice thing about the Revo is you can do more with the batteries. I mean, you could always upgrade the Bison, but you have to upgrade everything to be able to handle more. So with the e-Revo, you're just getting more truck, but you might not need it. So, all right. If there's not any other questions that are coming in, we might just go ahead and close down here for tonight. We're going to try and do this maybe every 2 weeks, something like that, and just see what pops up. Don't feel like if you're a regular subscriber that you have to jump in on this every time for these RC Hour Live Q&A, as they might, be geared towards some of the same questions over and over. And it will not hurt my feelings if you don't join in on these. We'll definitely have some more live things that are community-based and for people that follow the channel, who I communicate with all the time, that you might want to be a part of. But it's great having you here helping answer some of the questions, because I don't know all the answers to all the questions. So my thanks are appreciated for everybody in the comments, and for taking the time to tune in and hang out. Tebow, ship me a Big Mac. DHL it. Those guys, DHL Express, could get it here by in 3 hours. I'm pretty sure of it. Well, thanks, RC Authority, for tuning in. RC Bashley 164. I think you asked that before. I use LiPo batteries whenever I can. I prefer to use Venom batteries or the Atomic RC. So this Bias is it's like the same mold. I don't know what's different about them, but basically the same battery. Gens Ace, I try and keep it to more name brand batteries. And then I go by the C rating and the milliamp hour and the cell count based on what I'm doing. But I usually like high C ratings, and of course more juice when I can get it. However, I'm learning with these that you want smaller batteries. Like this is a 1500 milliamp hour, and I bought a 1300 milliamp hour 4S for it. That's Venom, just to keep the weight down on it. But so shorter run times, more batteries, and that. But I try not to go too cheap with the batteries. Michael, yeah, you should definitely check it out. If you need directions, message me and I'll get you it. So I'll get you directions to right where you can go and park. It's a fantastic place. So yeah, there's a lot of great battery companies. You know, you find one that's worked for you, and if you haven't had any problems with it, I tend to just keep going with that. So that's just my thing. People ask me, and a lot of times they want to know, can I get cheap ones, or like this Florian, is this an okay battery? They sell them on Amazon. I don't know what kind of testing they go through and what it takes to put their name on it. I feel a little bit more comfortable with the ones that I've been dealing with. So I know Jen's Ace is here in Virginia. We've got a whole bunch of different. I think it's Jen's Ace that's here in Virginia. There's one of the battery companies is here in Virginia, and but I particularly, if I'm buying it. Like at my hobby shop, I usually go with the Venom batteries. And even if I go through Amazon, I'll get the bias version of it. And it's like a gray pack, hard pack instead of a red. But everything else is pretty much Venom. Down to the packaging and the void and the Atomic RC or whatever the main company is. So, Reedy Zapper HV battery with their sub-bad stuff, high voltage, not lasting long. My original Venom 2S 5,000 milliamp hour LiPo battery that I got 3 years ago, still running strong. It's getting a little bit of a puff now, but I wasn't discharging it like I should have been. And you get so many batteries, and keeping up on them all gets a little bit trouble, and it got left in something and didn't get discharged, and yeah, so my bad, but it's still great, still works fantastic. Diagunzer Games. I don't have a PO box set up at the moment, but if you message me through YouTube, I can work out something. SMC, that's it. SMC batteries. They are here in Virginia. Thank you, Steve. RC Tanks and Trucks. I'm pretty sure that's the one that's in Virginia. I also have SMC batteries, so I was blanking on that. So SMC. Venom, Bias, and Gen's Ace are the ones that I pretty much use. So, but it's like one Gen's Ace, 2 SMCs, and the rest are all Venom, Bias. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna just sign off. I don't see any. Is Bison is worthy as my two. I have an amp ESC. I think the Bison would be way more than your amp ECX, if that's your other car. It would become your number one car. The Bison is very fast. It's very durable. It's pretty insane out of the box, battery and everything. So anyway, I'm out, guys. We'll see you next time we do one of these. And until then, have fun RCing, and we'll catch you later.